Something happens sometimes in the middle of this work that stops us. Not because we don't recognize it, but because we recognize it all too well. We've sat across some people in the deepest state of consciousness, and we know how to help facilitate that. And we've watched them go somewhere that doesn't follow the rules of ordinary experience. And what they bring back
changes them
every time. But here's the thing we want to tell you before we go any further. Before the stories, before the questions.
The people who come to us aren't looking for proof of anything. They're not necessarily like trying to validate any type of belief system. They're not arriving with an agenda.
They arrive with something unresolved, something they can feel but maybe can't name, a pattern that keeps repeating, a fear that has no known origin story, a connection to something that feels bigger than the time they've known that.
And then they go under and something meets them there.
Yeah. Today we're going to tell you about 3 of those encounters. 3 people, 3 very different experiences, and one question we keep returning to long after the sessions end.
Past life?
Or powerful metaphor.
We know what we've witnessed.
And this isn't about telling you what to believe.
This is about what happened.
And what it did. We're going to talk about and let you decide what to call it.
But by the end, we think that you'll find yourself asking a much bigger question.
Welcome back. I'm April.
And I'm Angela.
And if you've never listened to this show before, we do something called biodimensional integration. It's a deeply altered state of consciousness, facilitated, safe, intentional, and designed to take you somewhere ordinary waking life doesn't reach.
People come to us for all kinds of reasons. Grief they can't move through, patterns that they can't explain, maybe relationships that feel like they started somewhere before this life. A sense, quiet but present, that there's something more to know about who they really are.
And what happens in a session, we can prepare people for the process.
But we can never fully prepare them for what they find.
One of the things that often comes up in this type of work is the experience of another life.
Sometimes people experience themselves as being somewhere else entirely, like in another body, another time, a completely different set of circumstances. Like they somehow feel more familiar than they should.
And the word people reach for again and again without even being prompted is not, I imagined. It's not, I visualized.
It's, I experienced.
And the way they say it is different than how someone describes a dream. Different from how someone describes a visualization even. There's a quality to it that we've come to recognize.
It's specific.
A weight.
Like they don't create what they found.
They encountered it. Something that was already there, already waiting. Something that didn't need them to imagine it into being.
And we've been in the room when this happens. We've felt what it does to the space. We've watched somebody's entire face change. Not because they figured something out, but because something that had always been there finally surfaced.
So today, 3 stories, each one a little different, each one asking the question from a slightly different angle.
Past life or powerful metaphor?
Because the more experiences we've witnessed, the more we started to wonder if there's another question underneath that one. But we'll get there.
Let's go.
The first person I want to tell you about didn't come in looking for anything specific. No agenda, not even a question that she wanted answered necessarily. She just simply wanted to explore.
And I want you to hold that because what happened to her happened without her reaching for it. She didn't go looking for another life.
Another life found her.
We began the session the way that we always do. We settle in, we slow down, we create the conditions for something deeper to emerge. And almost immediately, something in the room shifted.
Yes, I felt it before she even said a word. There's a quality that comes over someone when they've crossed into something real. It's like the body settles differently. There's a different energy in the room. The breath changes. The face goes somewhere.
And then she started speaking quietly, like she was describing something happening right in front of her.
Yeah, she was standing somewhere high. She explained that there was a sense of wind and far below water.
Yeah, and then she looked down at her hands.
And they weren't her hands. She said that simply. No alarm in it, just noticing that they weren't her hands. And she even said, "These are not my hands."
Right? Oh my goodness. She noticed she was a man. She knew that without even working it out. Like, it wasn't a conclusion she arrived at. It was just true. Like, heavy fabric. She had boots, a coat, the air cold despite the sun.
Then something that I keep coming back to. She said, "I know this place."
Ooh, yeah. She didn't say that this feels familiar or that I think I've seen something like this before.
She said, "I know this place."
Then she started walking, and as she walked, she knew where the path went before she reached it. She knew which house was hers before she saw it, and she knew the faces before the people even came into view.
And that's the part I want you to sit with for a moment. The knowing before the seeing. Not recognition, not, "Oh, yes, I think that's..."
Just knowing, clean and immediate. The way you know the layout of your own home if all the lights were out and it was dark.
Yeah. And then she stopped and everything changed. And then a sense of grief kind of came on.
Yeah, I felt it move through the room before she said even another word. It wasn't performed. It wasn't built towards. It arrived the way that real grief arrives, all at once, from somewhere beneath thought.
Yeah, and here's what was strange about it. It wasn't grief for someone who had died.
No, it was the grief of someone leaving, like someone who had decided and couldn't go back.
Yeah, "I can't go back."
We asked her why, and what unfolded was a story of danger, an impossible choice. She had ran, and she had chosen her own survival.
Yep, and explained that she had left people behind.
Yeah, people that she loved, and people who didn't know where she had gone. And now she was standing on this cliff, knowing she wasn't going back to them, knowing that she couldn't.
I remember sitting with that and just kind of sitting with it because there was something underneath the story she was telling us, something that felt older than the cliff, older than that life.
Yeah, it was never about the cliff.
No.
It was about leaving the pattern of it, the way it felt, like practice, like a muscle that has been used so many times, it moved on its own.
And then she said something quietly, almost to herself.
"I've done this before."
Yeah, I remember asking, what did she mean by that?
And she said, "I leave."
Yeah, 2 words, and the room got very still.
Because this person in her current life had spent years just leaving relationships and situations and anything that asked too much of her.
Yeah, she left before it could cost her and before anyone could ask her to stay.
And here she was watching herself do it from a completely different body in a completely different time with the same feeling in her chest.
Now, here's where I want to slow down because this is the moment where our question arrives.
Was she encountering something that actually happened? A life she had actually lived?
Or was it her consciousness doing something extraordinary, constructing a story so precise, so perfectly fitted to the truth of her current life that maybe it could show her something she had never been able to see directly?
And here's what I keep returning to. Does the distinction change what happened in that room?
Does it change what she encountered?
Does it change what she understood about herself in that moment?
She left that session differently than she arrived.
Yeah, she was carrying something she hadn't been able to name before.
And we're still sitting with what to call what happened.
We know something happened, something real, because something changed. And I think that's the first piece of the puzzle. So the second story, I want to tell this one because this one did something to me that I'm still sitting with.
Take your time.
This person came in carrying fear, like not ordinary fear, but the kind of fear that lives underneath everything. That type of fear that wakes you up at 3 a.m. with no identifiable cause, that makes you check on the people you love. Not because something is wrong, but because something feels like it could be wrong.
A vigilance that never fully switches off.
Oh my goodness, exactly. There wasn't one event in their current life that allowed them to be able to explain the scale of it. There was no accident, no loss, nothing obvious. Just this constant low frequency of what if running around in their head.
So when they came in, what were they looking for?
We weren't looking for anything. We never are. We follow what comes, and what came was another life entirely. They were a parent, and the love in that life was immediate. It was total, the kind that doesn't ask permission.
But underneath it,
the same fear, always running, always scanning. And then something happened that couldn't be stopped. One of the children was gone, and there was nothing that they could do.
I know which situation you're talking about, and I remember the moment in the room. Yeah.
Yeah, it landed differently than most things do in this work, because the loss wasn't abstract. It was like right there between us, present tense. And then in the middle of it, something very quiet happened. Not an explanation, not like a breakthrough, just a recognition. So quiet, it didn't make a sound.
Do you remember what they said?
This is why I can't let go.
And then suddenly,
the whole pattern made sense, not as a flaw, not as something to simply manage, but as a response, a complete human response to something that had already happened. They had spent their entire current life trying to make sure that experience never came again, even though the people were very different and even though the circumstances were different.
It's like the nervous system didn't quite know that.
The nervous system was still there, still in that other life, still trying to hold on, still trying to prevent the thing that had already happened in a body in a time that no longer existed.
So past life?
Maybe. Or the consciousness doing something we don't have clean language for yet. Constructing a story so precise, so specific, so emotionally accurate that it could reach through every defense, show this person something that had never been able to see directly.
And if it was a metaphor,
it was the most extraordinary one I've ever witnessed, because it didn't just represent the fear, it showed them where the fear was born.
And once they saw that,
something shifted.
Yeah.
Not completely, not all at once, but something that had been locked loosened.
And they didn't bring back proof.
No, they brought back understanding, and that understanding changed the way they moved through the world.
And this is where I think the question starts to change, because now we have two possibilities. Maybe this person really experienced a life that existed before this one, or maybe the unconscious mind created an extraordinary precise story to help them process and understand the origin of a fear.
What both possibilities have in common?
They both led somewhere.
They both led to understanding.
And understanding creates change.
So maybe we're getting closer to something here.
The third story is the one that sits right in the middle of everything we've been exploring today.
Because this one doesn't resolve neatly into either category.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like just a metaphor.
And it doesn't feel like just a past life.
It feels like
both at the same time.
Yeah, this person entered the experience and immediately found themselves somewhere completely different. They knew who they were. They knew where they lived. They knew that what their life was like and what it looked like from the inside. And then they encountered someone.
And the recognition was like instant. It wasn't gradual, not there's something familiar about this person.
Right, instant.
But here's what made it strange. This person didn't look like anyone that they knew. Not physically, total different face, different body, different time period entirely.
And yet,
the knowing was immediate and total. I remember feeling something shift in the room when they described it.
So did I. There was like a quality to the connection they were describing that moved through the space between us.
Yeah, and the person experiencing it had no framework for what was happening, no explanation that they could reach for. Just a certainty that lived below the thought, below the language.
Yeah, I remember them saying, I know him.
Yeah, not that he was somebody familiar or not that there's something about him.
I know him. Yep.
And as the experience unfolded, the relationship revealed itself, a partnership, something that had lasted a really long time, and that was love in it. The kind of love that doesn't require explanation, that just simply
love, but there was also
lots of pain and conflict, things that had never been resolved, a conversation that had been left mid-sentence.
I remember sensing like the unfinished quality of it, like something that had been interrupted, and both people were still waiting without knowing they were waiting for it to continue.
And then the experience moved towards its ending. Like when She came back. She was quiet for a long time.
And then she said a name.
And it was her husband's.
The same soul, she believed. Different body, different time altogether, but the same essential presence and essence. The same energy she recognized across what felt like centuries.
Yeah, and then suddenly she was looking at her marriage differently. Not, why is this person in my life, but what are we here to complete?
And that question changed everything.
Now, here's where I want to be very clear. We don't need to tell someone what their experience was. We don't need to put a label on it for them either.
Yeah, because the work isn't about taking their experience away from them or trying to tell them what to believe.
The work is asking, what does this encounter mean to you? What are you seeing differently? What are you carrying? And what are you ready to put down?
And her answers were some of the most honest I've heard in all the years we've been doing this.
Yeah, because she realized that the relationship wasn't about repeating what had happened before. It was about having the chance to respond differently.
It's like the experience was showing her something specific.
You have a choice now.
You don't have to recreate the same ending.
No, you don't have to leave the conversation unfinished again.
You can choose differently. And that's where something became kind of clear to us. Maybe the experience was a past life. Maybe it was a powerful metaphor. Maybe it was something that doesn't even need to fit neatly into either explanation. But whatever it was, it brought her to a place that she needed to reach.
And she changed.
And their relationship changed.
And that is real, regardless of what we call the experience that produced it.
Past life or powerful metaphor. We started there.
And after all three of these stories, I think the question has gotten bigger, not smaller.
Because maybe we've been asking the wrong question.
Or maybe we've been asking the first question, but not the deepest one.
Okay, the first question is, was this a past life?
Or was this a metaphor?
Maybe the deeper question is, why was I being shown this?
So now I want to ask you something, and I don't want to answer it for you.
Neither do I.
Because maybe this is where the real investigation begins.
Does it actually matter what we call the experience?
If it's a past life and it helps you understand something in this life,
if it's your unconscious mind creating a powerful metaphor, so precise, so meaningful, that it allows you to finally see what you've been unable to see.
If either one leads to transformation,
to healing,
to understanding,
to change,
then what is the most important question?
Maybe it's not, was this real?
Maybe it's, why am I being shown this?
Why this way? Why this story?
Why this person?
Why this time?
Why this feeling?
Why now?
Because rather you believe your subconscious is traveling through another lifetime,
or whether you believe your unconscious mind is creating a powerful metaphor to help you heal,
the experience is still telling you something.
Something meaningful.
Something worth paying attention to.
And maybe that's where we leave this question. Not with an answer, but with an invitation.
Yeah, an invitation to become curious about your own experiences.
The patterns that don't seem to have an origin.
The fears that seem older than the story that you know.
The relationships that feel strangely familiar.
The things you know without knowing how to know them.
And maybe, just maybe, the experience that seems to be asking for your attention.
You don't have to decide today, rather, those things come from another lifetime.
And you don't have to decide that your mind created them.
You can simply ask, what is this showing me?
And then, what am I going to do with what I've seen? I think one of the things we've learned from doing this type of work is that people don't always need us to give them an answer.
No.
They need someone who knows how to walk beside them while they explore the answer for themselves.
Exactly.
And that's what we do. We listen. We experience alongside them. We ask questions, and then we follow what unfolds.
And then we help them bring the experience back here.
Into this life.
Because whatever happens during a biodimensional integration, the person always comes back here.
To this body.
This life.
The relationships.
These choices.
And that's where the real integration begins.
That's where the change happens.
And that's where the experience becomes something you can actually live.
So maybe that's the real question. Not what was it, but what did it show you?
And why?
If you like to experience a biodimensional integration for yourself, even just once, you can find us at sacredsoulroots.com.
That's right. Come visit us. Come with an open mind. Come with a question. Come with curiosity about what your own consciousness may want to show you.
Because whether you call it a past life,
A powerful metaphor,
or something you don't yet have words for,
the question remains,
why are you being shown this?
And what will you do with what you've seen?
I'm Angela.
And I'm April.
And this has been Biodimensional Integration Storytime.
We'll see you on the other side.
Bye.
Sending love.